Watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive, this is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Dive Podcast. I am your host of the Trap or Dive Podcast, Mual. AJ is in the building. Dre is on the way. Let's get the administrative items taken care of, man. Like always, man. Hit that subscribe button if you're on the YouTube side, man. Like and subscribe. We appreciate that as always. Everybody in the chat, what's up with you? We're live on Twitch as well. If you're tapping on Twitch, man, hit that follow button. Twitter or X. Appreciate y'all watching on that side too. If you can, go ahead, try to migrate over, to the YouTube side where we get the subscribers going, man. I think I did want to try to get 4K before the season started, but things slowed down. So let's try to get 4K before the end of the year is up. I know we could do that. So yeah, let's go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube side, Twitch, and Twitter. If you can migrate over to YouTube whenever you're ready, we appreciate that. Audio side, follow button, that's appreciated. Hit us with a rating and review if you can. Apple Podcast, Spotify, all that good stuff. And now we can get back to the show. I ain't never listened to this intro on the headphones. Oh my, hey, where you been, bruh? That's hey, look, the intro. Look, when I first heard it, Gerard, I played the intro, like I played the intro back like 10 times before I even listened to the podcast again. It's on fire, bro. What's up, AJ? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself, bro?
I'm good, man. As I take a sip, I'm good, bro.
Drinking fruit punch? Drinking fruit punch?
Hell no.
Oh, that's Henny and cranberry?
I don't drink juice for my health, bro. If I drink juice, there's some liquor in there.
It was a tall glass. That's why I had to ask. It was just juice.
Majority cranberry, but it's tequila and cranberry. I ain't on the hint dog, man. But you had yourself a quite an experience in Ashburn over the weekend. What was it, Saturday? So I was out the loop, so I'm catching up.
No, it was
yes.
It was Sunday.
I'll bet. All right, yeah, because I was catching up on everything over the weekend, yesterday and today.
Sunday. God damn.
Getting ready for the show. Let me go ahead and get Dre in here. And boom, where is the 3 overlay? Okay, boom, there we go. All right. Yeah, so I was just catching up on everything over the weekend. What's up with you, Dre? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man.
It's good to have you back, man.
You all. Hey, it's good to be back, brother.
Everything all right though? Like
everything's straight, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, as well as I can, more. You know what I'm saying? It's a day by day process, but you know, it's always good to have this kind of distraction football. You guys, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to be here.
Already, happy to have you back, bro.
Hey, man, it's a blessing.
Let's go ahead and talk some ball, man, and keep everybody occupied then. But yeah, Sunday, AJ, you know, you said too damn early, but you was there for Santana Moss's formal or official announcement that he was getting inducted to the Commanders or Washington. What is it? Is it Ring of Fame or Ring of Honor?
Ring of Fame. Ring of Fame.
Yeah, Ring of Fame. So I want to hear like your POV with how that day and experience went for Santana. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I want to start.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been privately in the works for a couple months. So friends, family, his brothers, Sonoris, Lloyd, and close friends, best friends, and other people that have been supporting him over the years were all in attendance. Very few knew about it, just like the brothers and stuff knew about it, and a couple other people. But it was all a surprise. Like Santana had no clue at all, like no clue that his brothers were right down the street from him the whole weekend. You know, he thought they was back home in Miami or doing other things with their lives with their kids and stuff like that. So yeah, man, the Washington Commanders staff, Tim Hightower, who's in charge of the alumni, did an amazing job putting things together along with another staff member, Mackenzie, and the rest of the team, Christina. All of those individuals did an amazing job coordinating everything, and even on site, they decided to make exclusive Santana Moss hats to commemorate the moment. So those hats that you've seen people wearing are only friends and family and Santana. That say Moss and the 89 on the side, which was an amazing touch from a creative standpoint, as Santana loves his hats, always wearing a fitted at all times. And yeah, man, pretty much we was watching the pre-show that they do with Brian Colbert, B. Mitch, Sean Springs, Logan Paulson. We're watching it in the studio that they typically record at, and the producer counted us down to where we could come from the backside and surprise Santana after Brian Mitchell made the announcement to him and telling him that he was going to go into the Ring of Fame. And it was just one of those blessings of a moment to be able to be a part of. As Santana is more than deserving of that honor from a standpoint of the Washington community, but also what he's done for the Washington Redskins and everything that he's brought to the fan base over the years. So it was just a beautiful moment to take in. He's going to be officially celebrated week 1 against the New York Giants. So that's September 7th. So more family are going to be coming in town, and we're going to be doing some things. And yeah, it's just a great moment to experience that, man. It was well worth waking up that early, going out to Ashburn.
What time y'all have to get up?
Man, the crazy thing is, my dumb self.
Or get there. My bad. Is what I should.
My dumb self decided to step out for a little bit, so I probably went to sleep 2:00, and I headed up to the facility around like 5:15 a.m.
Wow.
Got there around 6 something. So even like the Terry McLaurin news coming out that morning, I was at the facility at the front, like not where like everyone else is waiting in line, but I mean I'm at the front of the facility door and I'm seeing Terry come in. So I'm just like, wow, I just didn't want to be the person to leak that, especially with knowing I'm gonna be around all of these people, a part of the team. I ain't want no problems first thing in the morning. But yeah, so I mean it was just an amazing thing, man. And it was hot as hell, but it was a great moment. He got to break down the team at the end of practice, talk to the fans afterwards, did press a whole bunch of different stuff, man. And just looking forward to September 7th against the New York Giants, week 1, getting to celebrate Santana. And it's just an amazing thing with what this organization is doing and bringing in the guys back into the fold and making them feel honored and feel special. And even that particular day, Champ Bailey was there. So
yeah,
I got to meet and talk to him for a little bit. Yeah, it was just a dope experience, man. So it was well worth being out in that heat. I ain't never felt 81 degrees feel that hot in my life, but kudos to the staff, Major Tutty. I don't know how Major Tutty does it, and the rest of the players
You must
being
got a
able
fan in
to,
that motherfucker.
yeah, being able to endure that heat. It was crazy to be that hot at that early in the morning, but it was a special moment, man.
Well worth it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, so I've been thinking about this too with Tanner, bro. Ring of Fame, he definitely earned it, and like even a few years before him, and definitely every single year after him. I don't care about Djax. Like Pierre came through. I mean, we got Terry right now. Deebo had a 1,500-yard season before. I don't know if I'll ever see an electric wide receiver in the Commander's uniform. I don't know when. I don't know when I'll see as an electric receiver as Santana Moss, bro. Like I seen that in my lifetime while I was still like super young, and I still don't remember. Excuse me, I still won't forget like those highlight games that he had, bro. Like multiple 3-touchdown games, like streaks of like 100 plus yards, 10 plus catches, like, and it was like it was nothing, bro. He's doing this with the old version of Mark Brunell. He's doing this shit with Jason Campbell, a young Jason Campbell. Todd Yoder. Oh yeah, I'm thinking it's like Todd Collins. Todd Collins, bro.
But you might as well call him Todd Yoder.
Yeah, bro, and that's right. Rex Grossman, John Beck for like maybe a game or two.
Donovan McNabb.
The old McNabb, bro, and not to say like I'm not. This ain't even because you can think about the parallels with Terry and Santana, but no, like. Santana was a different breed, bro. And like the things he did from the first level, the second level, the third level of the field, bro. Like, and he's 5'10". Like, that's the true dude. Like, he bro, 2012, the dude is like in year 50. And RG3 drops back, throws a bomb to just chucks it up there because I think it's an offsides or something like that against Philadelphia, bro. And he mauled 2 niggas in the secondary for a touchdown, bro. And he's 45 at that point. Like,
look, he's 45. Let's not age my man too much.
But like, I don't think I'm ever going. I don't know when I'm gonna see that again, bro. Like, I'm just being real because the receivers in Washington, they don't come around like to that level. They don't come around that. Like some teams got it like that. Washington just hasn't had that, bro. Santana, he's that guy.
Yeah, just to add my little 2 cents on Santana. I mean, he was one of my favorite players growing up. I thought that was the coolest era for me as an adult fan, even though I was a young adult when this happened. But for him to see those 3 Miami dudes, even though I couldn't stand the U, but him, Portis, Sean Taylor, I mean, they made it special in those years. And then Santana is funny because it was I want to say it's the 2001 draft. Sometimes I get the 2001, 2002 draft, but I was begging to draft him because I seen how explosive he was at Miami. But then, of course, we went on and drafted Rod Gardner. But a couple of years later, they ended up making it right. And he was every bit of the guy that I thought he could be coming out of college. And as you said, Maul, I mean, he's been the most explosive player. You know, we haven't had an explosive wide receiver since Santana Moss like that. He was kind of like our version of the Eagles version of Deshaun Jackson. Like that's the type of player Santana Moss was. He could burn you with the punt returns, deep ball. You get him the ball in space. He was as good as gone. So I miss watching that dude play, but I think the organization definitely did right by him. And they've been doing a couple of things right as far as the alumni go. So kudos to them for making the players that deserve it feel special.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as much as we hate on Daniel Snyder, that's one of the moves that he actually got right. Because if it wasn't for Daniel Snyder forcing that, that trade wouldn't have happened from the Jets to Washington. But that's one of those guys that, you know, you got to give Snyder some kudos on bringing into the fold.
Let's give Clinton Portis that kudos. I'm gonna give him kudos for all the Miami players.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say God's name, bro. But you know, he Santana did say that guy wanted to draft him out of Miami. So, salute to Santana for sharing that story. You know, that's why I give my credit to.
Yeah, I think that was exclusively told here on Trap or Die.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Tanner. Shout out to you, AJ, man. I know that's a big deal for you. And obviously the Tanner Moss crew and everything like that. So I love the way we started off to the show. Shout out to everybody, man, showing love to Drake. We made sure that they was in here last week, man. Made sure to show some support that way too, just in case you wasn't watching at all or anything like that. But they ain't here, man, showing love to the Trap or Die family. So
I appreciate y'all.
Showtime, bro. You said that man Terry walked in. You didn't want to break the news. I get it. It makes sense. But Terry came through. Holdout ended. I was drunk, hungover, bro, and I get the text message from AJ, and I'm like, "Oh, what just happened?" Then I scrolled through the junk. They say Terry reported. I said, "Oh." I knew. I personally knew from a holdout perspective. I was like, "Bro, it's not gonna last long." Then he reports to camp. Obviously, he's still like he's holding in. You know, it's a hold in now, so he's still not practicing. He's still not like on the field or whatever. So the holdout completely is not completed or is not over yet. But Terry's in a situation where now, as is Tuesday, July 29th, you know, Adam Schefter has reported that he's looking for money well over. Well, was it? I didn't hear the exact quote, so I don't know if he reported it or if he was saying he thinks that it's well over DK Metcalf's salary or his contract. But we know DK Metcalf is the metric, right? And we know that Washington is not shooting for that, right? We also know at this point, a couple sidebars. Terry and his agent has shown up to practice 2 consecutive days, which was, I believe, Sunday and Monday. I don't know about today, but Sunday and Monday for sure. But yet, as of the reporting, like they're still not even close. I'm going to stop there, give y'all the floor, y'all opinion. But it's a little weird for me. It's a little weird now because I think that these guys. I ain't telling you because I saw Drake. I saw AJ smirking a little bit. I still think a deal getting done, but it's weird because I don't like how the agent moving. And I just think that this is one of these things, bro. Like, bro, you are not the show, bro. Get your shit together because there's no way that you're in here 2 days consecutively and y'all are far apart. Like, what are you doing and what are you doing here?
Yeah, no more. And, you know, I want to speak on the Adam Schefter piece. Now, I will say Adam Schefter didn't officially report anything. He said, I think. Right. And some fans are, you know, out there saying, well, you know, he didn't report that. But let's be honest. Adam Schefter doesn't say anything that's really uninformed on air like that. Like, Adam Schefter's not pulling that number or that guess out of his ass. Like, I just don't see it. I don't think he would just come out and say something like he thinks Terry wants considerably more, which he did say. He said he thinks Terry wants considerably more than DK Metcalf. I don't think he's pulling that out of anywhere. We've known that Adam Schefter, he has, and it's probably Adam Peters or someone in that front office that he gets good information from because he's been shocked with his Washington reporting. He was the one that told us to buy the Jaden Daniels jersey on this podcast here when he was on here last year. So, you know, Adam Schefter is very careful with his words not to give up his sources. With that said, man, Terry, if that's true, then I can see why the stall has happened. I mean, we love Terry. I mean, this fan base, wants Terry to be paid. We want to see Terry come back to this team. But if that's his number, that's just unrealistic. Now, I don't know what Washington's number is. I mean, some have speculated that the Cortland Sutton deal could have had like some kind of relevance as towards what Terry's deal could be. Yes, and Sutton just signed an AAV of $23 million yesterday. Now, Terry's better than him. But the question is, how much better is Terry than Sutton? And yes, DK. He got $33 million a year average annual salary, and he was overpaid with that. So because the Steelers overpaid DK, does that mean Washington have to come out and overpay Terry? Now, they have to meet somewhere in the middle, and I'm wondering what Terry's bargaining is, because I do think he lost some leverage yesterday with Sutton's contract, because, again, how much better or how much more do you value Terry, or how much more does he worth on the market than a Cortland Sutton? To me, it says highest max you will pay Terry is that 30 AAV. I think that's reasonable. I mean, that's top 10 money, but when you start talking about top 3 to 4 money, then you start looking at this a little bit different. And I know some people are like, why are they doing this back and forth thing through the media? Again, Adam Schefter didn't officially report anything, but you can't assume. I think it is safe to assume that he's probably speaking from, good knowledge within talking to the team. So with that said, where do you go from there? Like, I mean, is Terry going to come down from his number to meet them somewhere in the middle? Or is he going to keep saying he feels disrespected? Because he's been doing this media run. He's been going on this media tour for the last couple of weeks. And the team hadn't said anything, well, at least that we know of officially. Yep. Even you can still say to this point they haven't said anything.
I don't think they will.
Yeah, but if you want to go off the Adam Schefter stuff, that would be the first time something has probably come from the team yesterday. So, and I feel like if it did come from the team, I'm not really mad at them per se, because if Terry's doing this media run, in which Terry has used some really strong choice of words. I mean, I've heard disrespected. I even heard that when he was signing autographs the other day, he said, "My beef isn't with you all," basically implying that he has a beef with the front office or the people that's negotiating the contract. So at some point, something has to come out from the team, because, Terry's kind of the run that he's kind of going on is making the team kind of look like the bad guy in the situation. And a lot of fans have kind of painted them as the bad guy. Well, why don't they just pay Terry? Just pay him the money. This is a business. And I talked to a fan, yesterday. One of them was telling me, well, it doesn't matter, how much we're overpaying him. He deserves it. He's a good guy. Yes, he's a good guy. But is the tax of the good guy worth more than $10 million of his market value? I just don't think that's fair, but I do think they need to come and meet somewhere in the middle. I think $30 million a year is reasonable. I don't even know what the guarantees will look like there, but somewhere in that line is reasonable. That's top 10 money. And Terry, it's debatable whether he's a top 10 receiver, but I'm completely fine with giving him top 10 money. But when you start talking at top 3 to top 4 money, that's when you're like, okay, Terry, you tripping, bro.
Yeah, I think with the Terry situation, man, it's an expectation of what the agent set, and also what you have made up in your mind. Over the last year and a half, we've seen a lot of wide receivers get paid. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. Like, this is not a hard deal to get done. But if you think that you're supposed to be at a certain number and the team thinks opposite of that and it's far apart, this is what's going to take place. I mean, since the new CBA of like 2020 in the NFL, it's been 5 holdouts. That's been Nick Bosa, Zach Martin, Chris Jones, Trent Williams, and Hassan Reddick. But Nick Bosa is trying to get an extension. He wasn't getting fined. Trent Williams was getting fined, but he could afford to do so because of the money that he's made in his NFL career. I think Trent is on like his 5th NFL contract, which rarely happens for a lot of players. Chris Jones stupidly lost some money. You feel me? But at the end of the day, Chris Jones even showed up to the week. He missed the week 1 game as well. He showed up in the suite. Week 1 against the Detroit Lions. What was it, last year?
They lost, and then they got the deal done.
Zach Martin, he ended up getting his deal. Hassan Reddick, we know how that played out last year. Missed a bunch of games, lost money that he'll never recoup. So it's a rarity to have a player even do what Terry has done in the beginning stages, and especially at the wide receiver position. You don't necessarily see those guys hold out. So I just think that the bar that him and his team have set for themselves has plateaued a lot of this conversation, and a lot of PR stuff has been happening to make the fans be on his side, which is pretty stupid because at the end of the day, the fans don't cut the checks. Like they can still root for you as the guy, but they don't. In all honesty, they don't cut the checks. So the little stunt at the Eastern Motors, the ending the holdout and returning Sunday strategically when the fans return back. NFL Network is on site. ESPN Sports Center is on site. Then you don't have to talk to the media. Like you're on the pup list. You don't have to talk to them. You decide to do so, and you deciding to sign autographs, and your agent is present. Last week, no one knew what his agent name was. You feel me? Now everyone seems to know who his name is because it's also a simple ass name, Buddy. You feel me? That's his nickname. I happen to talk to Buddy on Sunday, and I get why he's present because he's trying to protect his agency, his asset. And there's a lot of agents currently reaching out to Terry to poach him away and telling him that they can get him this deal. You feel me? With their services and the fact that they represent bigger guys within the league and even on the team. So it makes sense that he would be present, but I just think that the approach that they're going about it has been so far incorrect. Like you said, Dre, Adam is not going to say anything without it being fact. You feel me? Some people think that the team fed him that information. It doesn't really matter. Someone is providing information, right? And what he said yesterday makes perfect sense of why this is so far from being done, even though now Terry is present, but it's not changing anything. Like, I mean, I was at practice Sunday. Terry wasn't near the wide receivers. He didn't go and stand on the sideline with them. He wasn't present with the team. He's really, if anything, just a distraction of more conversations to happen. You feel me? Like, and now you also add in the fact that he's saying he has an ankle injury, which he doesn't. It's just all fluff. At the end of the day, I don't know what is going to happen on Terry's front, but I can tell you from a business standpoint, or organization standpoint, they have no rush to do this deal because all the leverage is in their hands. Like Terry's not going to miss no games. You're talking about missing $1 million plus per game check. You're not going to do that. You're
He's
not
not
going
going
to
to miss
try to.
games. He's not going to hold
Yeah,
out.
you're
That's
not
that's why I was like,
trying.
it's just a matter of time for him
That's
to
why
get
he's
back on
holding
the field.
in now.
Yeah, you're not gonna miss out on accruing a season. Like you
That's why I
really.
keep telling people he's not. This is not a
Yeah,
Trent like
no.
because there's not a Trent Williams situation. Like he doesn't have the capital, and on top of that, if you talk about trying to get some money next season, and because one thing that I keep forgetting about is that the extension, if you get an extension, it kicks in after this year.
Next
So like
year.
you're still going to be 30. You're going to be 30 going into your 31 season. So like you can't afford to hold out. You have to hoop in 2025 in order to get the bread that you want for your contract extension year or a new deal for if you hit free agency.
And now that he's holding in, he can't go back to holding out because then in the CBA, the team can now provide you a letter where you have to show up within 5 days or you can't play for the rest of the season. So it's like what are we doing here? Like what's the real goal? Like what are we trying to get accomplished? And I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be a situation where Terry gets his final year, his contract guaranteed because currently it's not guaranteed, and I believe that he'll also negotiate to not be able to be franchise tagged in the 2026 offseason. But I don't see him getting the extension done because it's like if that's truly the number that they want to be at, Washington's nowhere close to that, and they don't necessarily have a reason to force themselves to do that when you also have other guys that you're trying to extend. Like I personally believe that a Lermy Tunsil gets an extension before week one. I think that they also are leveraging the fact that they have two franchise tags that they could use in future seasons. Like the one next year is 28 million. Like, why do I need to even necessarily go above 28 as my starting conversation with you when I know I have this to my leverage. I think the biggest mistake that Terry and his team did is they didn't focus on the extension last season. Last season when Terry was 28 and heading into the season he would have been 29, I think that he was uncomfortable with not knowing how the quarterback play was going to be, and if it wasn't going to be up to par, I think that he would have asked for a trade. And I think that betting against that is now why he's in this situation, because it would have been a better approach for him to force or be more aggressive in the extension talks last season or even during the season. When he was producing his numbers, he could have forced the conversation of the extension more. But, I think sometimes not all agents are great agents, and that's not to shit on anybody, but sometimes you get bad advice and sometimes you're learning on the fly or whatever. And I just think that betting on himself and the fact that, yeah, I guess he got the all pro nod, it doesn't change the fact that you're about to be 30. Washington doesn't need to be that team to reinvent the wheel. Like, they don't need to force themselves to be the first team to try to sign a 30 plus wide receiver to a lucrative deal. There's no such thing as a blank check, whatever. And I believe that wholeheartedly that they want him a part of the team, but they also want him at the number that they see him at. And this is a data driven organization. And the data shows that you should not be paying him what he thinks he's worth at the DK Metcalf 33 million a year, 60 million plus guaranteed. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think my main thing that we were waiting for this entire time was the fact that, we didn't know what either side was looking at. Like, before Adam gave a benchmark, it was reported maybe by Tom Palacero, that the two sides were far apart. But what the fuck does that mean? Like, what does that mean that they're far apart? Because nobody knows, like, what's the difference? Like, where are they disagreeing at? And I even said, like, bro, I don't even make, like, to say that, like, and we don't have no idea of where they are. It can't be too far apart, right? But I look at the situation where, when Brandon Ayuk got his deal, I think it's like around 30. Not much, in my opinion, has changed in terms of where I think he's valued from an AAV standpoint. I thought it was interesting that people always thought it was about the guarantees, or only about the guarantees, not all about. I mean, not mostly, but like, if it was only about guarantees, bruh, then I don't think that we would be in the situation that we're at now. But I think what Terry's side is doing, now that we kind of have an idea of, like, the ballpark, you look at 33, 34, bro, like, you're putting yourself in a territory that I don't think many teams would truly think you're that valuable. Like, if you were just to rank the receivers, right? Like, rank them 1 to 10. And you sit here and say that Terry is like a top 3 receiver. I don't see any team in the NFL doing that. They may pay you like that, and then in the presser where they do the press conference after they sign their big prize free agent, they may say, look, we really love Terry and we think he that dog. But, like, in reality, like, I think they just paying the price that it takes for, like, to have a top tier, like, free agent wide receiver in the free agency pool. But I think for Washington, understanding, like, where they are, or at least, like, where they're trying to have a middle ground, because there can be a middle ground, right? And if Terry is shooting at 33 plus and Washington is at like 28, there's a middle ground for both sides to compromise. But I have no idea who's going to be the side that's going to be willing to compromise. I do know it needs to be Terry's side, because like I said, I'm at that 30, like 31 personally. Yeah. It's not my money. They can do whatever they want. But, like, from a realistic standpoint, like, both of you all kind of outline the perspectives, right? But I just think that this is one of those situations where if your faith or your standing from the McLaurin side is I'm disrespected, they're not seeing me for what I am, what I mean to this team, despite my age, I don't think that's strong enough to warrant top 3, top 4 receiver money. You have to be more realistic on your side too. Now, granted, I'm not sitting here saying you shouldn't try to go for as much as you can. But at the same time, if you want to be in Washington, as you claim, you have to have a little bit more awareness. And who knows, he may like bite down the line and understand like things are going to be a little bit different or things aren't as what it seems. But like you just have to have more perspective on that side. And that's not to say to settle for the 28 million. Like I said, there's a middle ground there, but who's gonna be the one to budge? And I think if there's gonna be somebody that has to budge, it's gonna have to be from Terry's side to make something happen moving forward.
The team has more leverage than him.
Yeah, I think the best thing Terry could do is request a trade and see what other teams are willing to offer him, and then come back to Washington and be like, hey, this team, I mean, they would know this team is willing to pay me the 33, 5, 34, whatever. And if Washington decides that's something that they want to meet, cool. I think that's the best play for him right now is to request permission for a trade. But I don't think he wants to do that because honestly, he done been through the ringer here. He done mentioned him and his wife bought a crib out here. It's so late into the off season, or not even off season, is now in season. You know, making that adjustment on the fly and also being loyal to a fault. He's loyal to a fault to his agent. He's loyal to a fault to Washington, and he still thinks that there's a possibility it's going to get done. But I mean, at some point, you got to wake up and realize this is not getting done. The best move that you could do is to ask for that trade, or you could have just kept quiet like Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton been working on his extension this whole offseason, but you ain't never hear peep. You ain't never really hear a conversation really about it. But yeah, I think no one is trying to compare the players. But if you just want to look from a statistical standpoint from the 2024 season, it's pretty damn similar. I mean, the numbers.
But their career is not similar though. Terry's had a much more consistent career than Cortland did. They're similar last year though.
But see, Dre, that's the thing. It don't even matter. Terry's been compensated for what he's done in the past. So now is what you did in the 2024 season, and what do we project you to do beyond? Right. Like, so when the fans bring up, he's played with Kyle Allen, he's played with Trent Dilfer, like all these different people, whatever quarterbacks you want to name, it doesn't matter. He's already been compensated for that. Like, the new compensation is from the 2024 season, and what are you projected to do beyond? And when you got guys like Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, and other guys not getting around that ballpark, it's kind of hard to argue that. And you're 30, you're about to be 30.
Yeah, something got to break soon. That's all.
Some do. By the way, actually, let's pause here for a second. Appreciate everybody who's checking it live. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Linnell Willingham is probably going to be joining us in a few minutes. I didn't get that off at the start of the show because I know he's actually on radio. So I left it up to him. And I ain't about to put no pressure on somebody who's getting off the radio in like 2 minutes, literally, to join us. So he may or may not join us in like 7 or 8 minutes. But obviously he's boots on the ground in terms of daily camp updates. So we'll kind of get an idea from him of what is going on a day-to-day. So we'll see if he joins us. If not, like I said, I ain't put no pressure on him, so we'll see what's up. All right. Let's go ahead and keep things pushing. Actually, stick to the receiver side. We're not going to talk about Terry, but a second-year guy, Luke McCaffrey. Going into the offseason before the Deebo trade, it was just Terry and Luke McCaffrey on the roster. And Luke, it's been real quiet on the Luke side. And, you know, I think one of the bigger things that I've heard in terms of like the consistent observations with Luke is that he's playing slow. He's thinking too much. And that's impacting the way he's playing. Now, granted, you got to take these with a grain of salt in training camp. But when you think about the people who's been shining, we're going to get to Deebo. But it's been Deebo. Jalen Lane has stood out.
It's AJ's boy.
Yeah, Jalen Lane has stood out. The undrafted free agent dude, Malachi, what's his name? What's that?
Ja'Cory
Brooks. I don't know where Malachi came from. Ja'Cory Brooks. Those three have stood out in terms of like the constant names, and I think for Luke, it's important to bring his name up because you're talking about a week into training camp, right? 7 practices, if not 6. I think this is 6 practices. They have a day off tomorrow. Today is Tuesday. They have a day off on Wednesday. Luke McCaffrey has been pretty quiet. Maybe this is going to be a case of where we have to see him in the games. But, you know, if you're talking about a person who is coming in year 2 and you're hoping that this only other receiver that was on the roster for a good period of time outside of Terry McLaurin wasn't doing shit for you or hasn't done shit for you so far into camp, or at least turn heads. Let's just turn heads. And I think, you know, the noise will only get louder from here in terms of a 3rd round pick third round pick, right? So
yeah. I mean, I think it's just with Luke. What can he do? You feel me? Like in the practice that I was at Sunday, I mean, if Linnell joins us, he can give you more insight because he's been there every single day. I seen Luke drop 3 passes.
Damn.
So it's like in the middle of the field, it's like, what can he do? He's not fast. Like, he's not twitchy. Then you have inconsistent hands. Like, what can you really do? I mean, that's not to say that the other guys like the Chris Moore, even a kid last name Martin, number 16, or Ja'Cory Brooks are better. I mean, I seen Ja'Cory Brooks drop passes while I was in attendance, but at the end of the day, it's like when you draft someone 3rd round, you're hoping that they make the team and can be a benefit, and I just don't see where Luke is a benefit when you break down the wide receiver room. I think that you wouldn't want to get rid of your 3rd round pick from last year, but if you got other guys that are able to produce and make some plays, that's a conversation that has to happen because he's not going to be the punt returner going forward. The punt returner is now Jalen Lane. Kickoff, you got B-Rob doing some kickoff, Austin Eckler, Jalen Lane. Luke has been back there, but he's not going to be the leading kickoff returner. So it's like, what does he bring to the table? Nothing. Like that's just a pure thing right there. You just hope that maybe in these actual preseason games when he gets these opportunities that he can make some shape. But as of right now, from what I've seen Sunday and the things that, you know, we all been reading or whatever, he's not doing anything to impress, to stand out of the bunch.
Yeah, man. This is actually a question I really wanted to ask Linnell because I know he has been there every day. And I'm actually hearing some mixed reports about Luke. I don't think it's been all bad. I have heard some of the, you know, concerns, but I've also heard he's been out there working with the ones and he's actually been having a pretty decent camp. I mean, again, it just depends on who you ask. That's why I wanted to ask Linnell. But I do think what works against Luke is while Washington may not have like that top tier power at wide receiver, they have a bunch of guys that can play 3 to 6 almost anywhere in the NFL. Like, I mean, you just drafted Jalen Lane, who you hope is your slot guy. You still got Noah Brown, who, you know, he may not be healthy all the time, but when he's healthy, he's a guy you could slot somewhere between 3 to 5 wide receiver spots. And then we haven't even really talked about Michael Gallup. I know he's been hurt, but when he comes back, where does Michael Gallup kind of fit into the mix? So, you know, it is a valid question right now to ask, how does Luke separate himself from the pack right now? And, you know, that's why I want to ask Liddell. I want to see where he's at because, you know, if he's not really separating himself, I mean, you know, no one wants to hear, but he could be that cut candidate, you know, and I hope he doesn't get cut either. I mean, but, you know, I heard Brian Mitchell talking about it on the radio this morning. I was listening to him and JP. Brian Mitchell was saying, you know, he's out there thinking too much and that can get you hurt out there when you're thinking too much, which is right. But Brian Mitchell on the same token is like, but I also feel like Luke McCaffrey's one of those guys when he figures it out, he's going to be a damn good player. Now, I don't know how much time we have to figure it out. Like Washington is kind of, I mean, to be fair, they're trying to win now. I mean, we didn't think we would be in this position in year 2, but they are trying to win now. So Luke has got to kind of start separating himself. I mean, it's still early in camp. We haven't even got to the joint practices yet. So once we get to the joint practices, preseason, Luke is really going to have to start standing out. And if what they're saying is true as far as the thinking stuff, Luke going to have to get over that. I mean, you a McCaffrey, bro. Your father was a beast. Your brother's a beast. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to go out there and play like you know your name means something in this league.
Yeah. It sounds good, and like I agree, because like the pedigree standpoint, man, you would love for a player or a player who has had history in the league from a family tree standpoint to, all right, bro, like I know you got the ethic, I know you got like the athleticism, but can you put it together? And maybe the transition to receiver is really fucking him up in the NFL. Like maybe that is the case. But honestly, somebody said it in the chat. Who was it? Luke might get cut if he doesn't have good preseason games. And where is? I hope Luke doesn't get cut. So they just mentioned his roster status, right? But I think you're in a position where there's several veterans in here that is competing with Luke. KJ Osborne, your boy from Dallas, Michael Gallup, Noah Brown, who I think is a lot. I'm not worried about Noah in that sense, but you're talking about the back end of the roster. And they gave Luke chances last year as a rookie. It's not like they didn't do that. I just think for a person like him, two things. I don't think in reality, I don't think they cut him, because I think just like any other organization or team, like they're going to give their draft picks a shot. They're not going to cut him after year 2. He's not that bad, and he contributed to special teams last year, right? But at the same time, if you really talk about competition, like I wouldn't expect to see him on offense, and it's looking a little bleak on special teams too, because if Jalen can do kick returns as well as punt returns, then there goes Luke's job as a kick returner. So, we'll see. I do think there's plenty of talent there. Jay Tizzy just did the lineup. It's Terry, Deebo, Noah, Jalen, KJ, Luke, and Gallup. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they may roll in with 6. So
4 guys are locked, in my opinion.
Who's
the
in?
First, that's Terry, Deebo,
Noah,
and Jalen. Yeah, those are the 4 locks. And then it's whoever else. Now, Luke, he may have first dibs at that, but again, I do think he has to start separating pretty soon.
Yeah. We had a question. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's see if Linnell comes through. I want to give AJ the floor for his camp observations. He's been the only one that's been at camp from us 3. I was gonna go Saturday. Got a fucking football tournament, so I ain't going. I gave my ticket away already, so I ain't even getting it back. AJ, tell us what you saw, bro, on Sunday. Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday, I definitely seen the defensive line gelling pretty well together. The rotation, those guys are much bigger than the core that they had last year. I think that's going to be very prevalent to see within these games when they start. It's a good rotation of guys. I think they'll be much more stout at the run attack point. Von Miller is still quick off the ball. I think he probably lost maybe a little bit of a step, but he's still quick and twitchy off the ball. Jalen Lane, yeah, he got that real 4.3 speed. Like a lot of times you see some guys run great 40s at the combine and pro days, and it doesn't really translate to the field. But Jalen Lane, acceleration is through the roof. Like he's gonna make some plays offensively, whether that be in the deep ball game or even in some of these jet sweep opportunities. I think that's another piece that Cliff gets to add to the offense. That will be underrated in the beginning of the season because a lot of people haven't seen Jalen in particular. I mean, they'll read the scouting report and know that he's fast, but that acceleration that he has is undeniable. JCM. I said I was not going to be calling him Bill because I don't understand it, but when he took carries from the backfield, you could feel the electricity immediately. Like he definitely has a certain type of burst about him as a running back, but just natural vision. You could tell he's been playing running back since he was in Pee Wee. Like
Is he started day one, AJ?
Oh, somebody Kim asked a question. Yeah, where is that on it? She said something about Bill and
because I know how you feel about B-Rob, so I want to see, is he ready to go with Bill? We gonna call him Bill. Are you going Bill day one, AJ?
Bill Murd.
I
She
think
said B-Rob looks good and Bill, and if B-Rob and Bill looks good, who are you gonna start?
I think for JCM, I don't think he'll start week one, but I think he'll be an integral part within the offense because what he brings to that backfield is something that they don't have currently. They don't have it in Austin Eckler. They don't have it in Jeremy McNichols. They don't have it in B Rob. Like, he's just electric immediately when he gets the ball. And the vision, the cutbacks is insane. And he's making the right cutbacks. It's not like he's just dancing for the hell of it. He ain't trying to be on Dancing with the Stars. He's actually making sense with these cutbacks. And he's just electric. It's just something that they don't have back there. And when you add in the fact of having a Deebo Samuel that can also line up in that backfield and a Jaden Daniels at quarterback, especially if you're doing the RPO game and stuff like that, that adds a whole different nuance to it besides having a B-Rob. So I don't think that JCM starts week one, but I think that he'll have at least over 6 carries in week one. Just trying to get to the outside going against the Giants. As we know, they got a beast in the middle of the field in Dexter Lawrence. I think that that's not the place you necessarily want to run on a consistent basis within your run game. But I think it also boils down to how JCM plays in the preseason. Is he going to hold on to the ball? Is he going to be impactful? But I think JCM ends up starting at some point during the season. I can't say necessarily week one, but I think he'll have opportunities to be active and be integral within the offensive scheme. Marshawn Lattimore looks sharp. Looks
Hey, Brad, he
looks
sounded
sharp as hell.
so. He spoke today with Scott Abraham after the practice, and like his enthusiasm as he's like even giving his providing his responses, bro. I'm like, and he spoke about the DB room, like it's like he loves what's going on in the group. He loves what's going on defensively. Like the optimism, it's like seeping out of his responses, and that's encouraging to hear.
He don't usually show that type of optimism either, which was interesting.
Yeah, man, that boy was in and out his breaks so smooth, like a pure technician, bro. Like I paid a lot of attention to him. He was looking phenomenal. Like I can't even lie. Like I don't know what everybody else is saying about him about the other days, but Sunday in particular, he was going against Deebo. He was going against Noah Brown. I think even in the video I sent you guys privately, I think he was going against Noah Brown in the comeback. Noah won the rep, but Marshawn was right there in movement. Will Harris did a great job against John Bates in coverage.
Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah, number
I'll say,
three.
because he strapped
Number
this
three.
shit. No, yeah, I saw it was Will Harris. I didn't know who the person who was in the race. Will Harris strapped this shit up there.
Yeah, like it was.
I was like, I don't even know who it was to this day until you said something. I was like, bro, he ain't get off the line.
Yeah, like it was murder she wrote for John Bates in that regard. Bobby Wagner had a great feel of everything. You could just tell that on both sides of the ball, the continuity of the coordinators and what the coaches are expecting from them are showing. Everyone was playing fast. Like that's just how I took it. I do feel like the defensive line dominated the offensive line when I was out there Sunday, but at the end of the day, that's kind of expected because they're still trying to create their starting group for the O-line. I would say that I am concerned of the free safety position. I definitely seen some plays where Quan Martin didn't necessarily get his hips open and get into position well enough. So that's a bit of a concern. The drops from the wide receivers from Luke to Ja'Cory Brooks to Chris Moore, even tight end Zach Ertz had a drop or whatever. That was a bit alarming. I felt like Jaden Daniels looked extremely sharp, like extremely sharp. They said today was probably one of his better days. That I don't know what Sunday was, but he's the real deal, dog. Like he's the real deal. Like he was making the perfect reads on everything. Like it's just and he just moves so smooth. Like just being that close to the action and seeing how he runs, he's just so smooth. It looked like he's gliding. Like it don't even look like he's moving fast, but he's moving.
AJ, did you notice Josh Connolly at all? Because I've heard a couple of things about him.
Yeah, I noticed Josh Connolly. I think he was straight. I mean, it wasn't anything like to rave about. But I did have a moment where I watched him and Lermy Tunsil talking on the sideline about different things, standing side by side with one another. You could definitely see that Josh Connolly has some athleticism to him. He looked like he about 15, 16 years old. But I mean, Lermy Tunsil is a huge dude. And I think just that camaraderie that they'll end up building will help Connolly in the long run. And I think, you still got to be patient with him as he's adjusting the plan on the right side, as he primarily played left tackle at Oregon last year. I think that going against like Von Miller, Jacob Martin, Ken Law, and all those different guys will help him. Trying to think, Deron Payne looks so quick off the ball. Javon Kinlaw, yeah, I think I told y'all in text. I don't know if Lermy Tunsil and Javon Kinlaw are trying to battle who's the biggest guy on the team, but yeah, like Kinlaw is humongous, and I think that presence is going to be felt on the D line. But overall, I mean, it was a solid practice. I think I definitely seen the pass that Jaden made to Jalen Lane in the end zone. It was out, but it was still an amazing attempt for Jalen Lane to even get up there on two guys and make that catch.
That's some touch too, bro. I mean, I know the DB got the hand on it, but it's a slight hand, bro. It got back there.
Yeah, it was an amazing pass. But I mean, overall, I think that practice was good. Good to see the coaches like Daryl Tapp active with the guys, and just like it was a good feel. Deebo looked sharp. I haven't seen Deebo much this year, but he definitely looked in the best shape that I've ever seen him personally.
You said Deebo?
Yeah. So he definitely
let's start with let's talk a little bit about Deebo right quick. I think that's Deebo, and I want to talk about Trey Amos too, but Deebo since we brought him up. Bruh, Ben Standig is reported. That's not fair to call it a report. It's just his observations. But Deebo has had, and the team ain't shying away from it. Deebo has had like 2 or 3 splash plays per practice since training camp has started. Like he's doing his thing, and without pads, with pads. I think that Jaden and Deebo's connection so far, like now, granted, Jaden's connection with every receiver last year looked good. Like he throw it to you if you open, but like the way that they're like making plays, second and third level in practices is really impressive for this offense and what the potential could be when Terry does eventually get back on the field, because that motherfucker ain't sitting out the whole season. So when the Terry and Deebo thing, I love the way that Deebo is showing up early, at least for Washington, and having that practice connection and chemistry with Jaden.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that's one of the benefits for Deebo with Terry sitting out. I think Deebo was always going to be able to have this connection with Jaden just because of their personalities and meshing well. Um, but I think Deebo has put in the work to produce and also trying to get another contract. It's a blessing, like I stated, to be able to get a third contract in the NFL, and he's truly betting on himself. Like his his production is going to lead him to getting paid, the 28 million, possibly 29, 30 million. If he produces at a high level and being an integral part in the run game and passing game, he's going to cash out. And I think that's why Adam Peters banked on bringing him in here. Yeah, you're hearing about the connection that they're having. Deebo has never played with a quarterback of Jaden's caliber either. So that goes from all aspects. That's from in the pocket to out of the pocket to the threat of even running. So I can only imagine how it's going to look once the season starts to count. So, yeah, man, I think a lot of the ignorant fans calling him fat or whatever, yeah, you're tripping. Like, shoot, I trade bodies with Deebo right now. No Diddy.
Yeah, a lot of us would, honestly.
If that's fat, shit, I'm obese. Like,
but
so
with Deebo, I wonder if a lot of some of the fans' perception. I mean, because you heard a lot of he's washed and he's out of shape. And then you hear him in the press conference yesterday talk about his battle with pneumonia last year. Now, pneumonia could be pretty serious on the lungs, and Deebo was saying he didn't even really get his breathing back towards the end of the season. So that could be like kind of ruining some of the fans' perception because Deebo ain't never been a skinny guy. Like I see someone in the chat now talking about he's 220 and he's out of shape. No, Deebo has always been that stocky type of wide receiver. I mean, we see the workout.
I thought he was playing. I ain't gonna lie to you. But he's not playing. He didn't send three. He didn't send 3 messages. Yeah, he sent 3 messages saying, yeah, he's a fat, out of shape receiver playing at a linebacker weight.
I think what it is, we're not accustomed to seeing stocky wide receivers.
Yeah.
And if we do see stocky guys, they're typically 6'4",
Shout out to Anquan Bolden.
Well, he built kind of like a running back in a sense.
Yeah, so you're not used to seeing those type of guys. Like that's just what it is. It's like Deebo is built like a taller Clinton Portis. So you're not used to seeing that. You're not used to seeing that type of body frame in a wide receiver. So people call you fat, but I it is what it is, bro. Like I just know that he's gonna produce when the opportunities come. I don't know his exact weight. I don't worry about another grown man's weight. I'm trying to worry about my own damn weight. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think that it's.
Wait, let me just show something, bro. I want to see if I just need to see, like, do people, Bowie? I want you to say this with a straight face, bro. Does this look overweight to you? Let me remove this comment. I don't do this show. I just need to know if this looks overweight, bro. I don't think this looks overweight, bro. That's Deebo right there. Where's the overweight, bro? I love to know, bro. And they, you know what? They did another clip of Deebo today. Let's see if we can go to. Let's go to the Jones. They just posted it. Here it is. Wait a minute. That was like a pause. You look like a big ass receiver, bro. Thick ass receiver, bro.
Bowie, respectfully, and I literally just had this same conversation. He's doing this for Terry. That's what I literally just had the same conversation with Disco. Because Disco said fans are bashing Terry, and I'm like, what is bashing? Like, just because you're not saying something glowing about a player does not mean you're bashing them. And I think it's fair to criticize the process of what Terry's going through, but no one here is going to tell you that Terry's trash. We're not going to diminish, or at least me. I know I'm not going to diminish anything Terry has brought to this franchise, and I want Terry to retire here as a franchise, but kind of talking about his contract situation objectively is not bashing. Like, no one on this show has bashed Terry McLaurin at all. So I'm just kind of confused as to why do some fans keep bringing this up and saying that people are bashing Terry. Like, where's that coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I've had my commentary on Terry, but I've never once called him ass. I'm quick to tell you someone's ass. I've never said Terry's ass. I said I personally believe that he shouldn't be getting paid. He shouldn't get what he wants contract wise. But I don't think he's trash. I just think that he brings a different type of trait to the table that unfortunately a lot of guys his size that's not typically what they're known
bro.
for.
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
On,
I mean,
bro. Why are we doing? Why you doing?
I mean,
this?
but Bowie, I don't. You're talking about he not in wide receiver shape, but Maul just pulled up 2 highlights of him doing wide receiver stuff, and you also got to factor in he's going to be carrying the ball as a running back as well on plays. So it's like
DK way.
Defenders can legitimately break their neck if they take the wrong angle at Deebo, bro. Like they can literally
he's
hurt
known
themselves.
for breaking tackles because he's stocky, like, and he can move. Like
he's a yak guy.
Yeah, he's legit fast. So it's just I don't know. We all got different preferences, but I do think what I have learned about this whole Terry McLaurin thing, and it's almost getting close to Sam Howell levels for me, is like some people are just irrational. Like they just think because you're talking about Terry or him not getting paid a certain amount of money because he should just get a blank check that you're bashing him or you're hating on him, and that's not really the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's close out with Trey Amos and get up out of here. I like what I'm hearing. One of the things I said before, maybe before minicamp, and my 2 truths and a lie, was that I think that this cornerback specifically, not DBs, because I know that includes the safeties, but the cornerback group is the top 4 position group on the team. And I think I said excluding quarterback because quarterback was obvious. I can't remember. But definitely think a cornerback group is top 4 position groups. And to hear that Trey Amos is coming out and turning his and impressing with technique and his presence overall, I think is super encouraging for a unit that gave up way too many explosives at random times, specifically early on in the season, but things leveled out in the middle of the season, and then they reverted back to some what the fuck towards the end of the season. So I love to hear that Amos is contributing in a good way early on. Obviously it's reps against your own team. You got joint practices that start next week. And then we have obviously preseason games as well as the regular season. But to hear that early on is something where I'm like, all right, let's see what we got here. Because if you get Marshawn back to full form, you get Trey Amos on the opposite end, Sanders still in your slot, right, who is coming off a strong rookie season. You got 3 dogs off rip, and you're starting 3 that can really put pressure on offenses and help that defensive line out, that front 7, as a way that Joe Witt likes to dial it up front. So I think that's really good.
I think the most encouraging thing we've been hearing about Trey Amos so far is that I don't think at that one point he hasn't been working with the starters. That goes to show you what they think, he's brought to the table so far this summer. And I mean, you watch him in college. When I'm sitting there looking at his tape from Mississippi, I'm like, this guy is so sticky in coverage. He's always in the right position. And he also has that swag that you want to see a cornerback play with. So it's just really encouraging to see him, Mikey, and even AJ saying Marshawn Lattimore. You just get to thinking this cornerback room is so good right now, and not even just 1 through 3. We're actually hearing good things 1 through 5. We're hearing Noah Eyes making plays. Jonathan Jones, he looks good out there. So it's encouraging.
Hey Dre. Yeah, I don't know who said Jonathan Jones looking good. That boy.
Well, I've heard all 5.
Hold on now. I'm about to say, are we doing it? We doing it off your
Now maybe that one day. Man, yeah, but I've heard that.
Yeah, I was there one day, but boy, he was getting the business by guys that
somebody got to get it. Somebody got to get it, because I mean, the offense is going to make plays at some point. So I mean, maybe he just didn't have a good day, but either way, I still think that you have a strong position group 1 through 5. But Trey Amos is like the cherry on top, because we could have went into this season with just Mikey, Marshawn Lattimore, and Jonathan Jones as your free agent side, and those would have been your top 3 guys. But then when a Trey Amos falls to you, which they didn't expect him to fall to them in the second round, he falls there. He could have been a first round pick, and he automatically comes in looking good. Like everything you're hearing about Trey Amos is that he looks good. He's working with the starters already. Like this guy isn't getting worked in, kind of like a Josh Connolly. Now, Josh Connolly is perfectly fine. I think he's going to be okay. Even if he doesn't start right away, he's going to be fine. But Trey Amos coming out the break starting, and you're not hearing him getting worked in. That goes to show you what the coaches think of him. And, that's going to just bring more to this DB room, man, come time for the season to start.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a benefit of playing a lot of ball on the collegiate level and a lot of SEC reps as well. Bama being at Ole Miss. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely lengthy or whatever. I think these joint practices is definitely be beneficial. Hopefully he gets paired up against Stephon Diggs, against the Patriots. Then, they got the Ravens going against D-Hop, Zay Flowers, Bateman. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to show some of that DB play back there. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Someone mentioned Tyler Owens. I seen him play linebacker. I didn't really see him play safety when I was out there. I seen him playing
slot too. Yeah, slot reps.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be dope, man. Especially with the added pass rush. Like they work in unison with each other. So if the pass rush can get home, these boys can start getting to the ball and making some plays. So I definitely agree with you, Dre and Maul. I think this is an improved position group on the team overall.
There it is. Hey, chat, fellas, ladies, everybody that's watching the stream, listening live, all that good stuff. Listen, we are back. Trap or Dive is back. We are going to be back weekly. So we'll be back next Tuesday. The Commander Style, all 32 is back tomorrow. We're getting ready for that show. Back on Wednesdays. And we
preseason,
will. How about us?
When is the preseason game next week?
It's on Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
But, hey, my man, all talk is right though. We got a game this week. Not us, but it's the NFL. Thursday night football, baby.
Thursday night we got a football game, bro. So yeah, things looking up, man. Chopper Dive is back. Appreciate everybody who tapped in. Cody, what's up? Bowie, all love, bro. I ain't taking it too personal. I was like, bro, you just
this what we do, baby.
This is what we do.
That's good talk.
But yeah, we back. So yeah, y'all take it easy. Enjoy your night. Like I said, R32 is back tomorrow. And then the fellas on the Commander side is be back next Tuesday. Take it easy. Peace.
Sure.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Down, set, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.